The Trump administration globally has been criticized for its response to the pandemic or the COVID. Those external pressures had led to internal pressures on me because people think that the response or lack thereof was my fault because I let my emotions get the best of me. But the real culprit in all this is, of course, Don Jr. He's the reason behind the administration's response or slowness of response. It all started when before we get into that, what I'm about to share with you is very shocking and disturbing. So if you have any children in the room, you probably should have them removed. If you have a medical professional dealing with your psychological state, you might want to have that person on speed dial on another device because you might need a quick consultation when I tell you what I saw. And if you are a drinker or a smoker, you better prepare yourself with your chosen beverage or chosen smokable. I was driving by my old neighborhood and I saw something I never thought I'd see. They closed the Starbucks, or Starbucks was closed. I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime. You know how those things pop up. Those things breed. I thought we might be looking at Armageddon, the end of times. So I pulled over and I was looking at the Starbucks in shock when one of these Farther Kel Truth followers, supporters came up to me, started talking trash again, harassing me, saying, well, I don't care how much plastic surgery you get. You can get those guys from Botched. You'll always look like Donald Trump. And I looked at her and I was like, pointed to the Starbucks being closed, and I said, I did that. And you really want to talk trash to me? And she believed me. And she fell to the ground, went into the fetal position, and started screaming, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I'll never say anything to you again. Just don't hurt me. And so now it is me standing over this girl in the fetal position, screaming, don't hurt me. So then a bunch of people come running over, and they're like, what did you do to this poor girl? And I said, I didn't do anything. Look. And they've looked at, saw the Starbucks was closed. And so then those 5 people fell down in the fetal position and they were screaming, oh my God, it's the end of times. So more people started coming over and looking, and some people had temporary paralysis, so they fell to the ground. Some people lost their vision. Some people passed out. Some people just started drooling and twitching. Some people threw up. It was just a mess. And then the traffic, people sort of seeing this from the street, so cars started crashing into each other. There was a pile up. There was just body parts everywhere. It was actually kind of gross. And then they had to bring in the National Guard. We had to put a tent over it to keep the news copters from filming it and putting it on the TV and just panicking the whole world. So that's why, and then we had to bring the medical professionals in, and that's why there were no masks, because with all the vomiting and drooling, they had to protect themselves. That's why there were no hospital beds, and people were worried about the hospital, because all these people who had these paralyses and loss of fluids had to be taken to the hospital, plus the people injured in the car accident, they had to be taken to the hospital. So yeah, we were running out of hospital beds, and we had to try to keep this from the public because we didn't want people thinking it was the end of time and start to panic. So we finally got this crisis under control, only to find out that Starbucks really didn't close the Starbucks. The aliens in at Area 51 were upset because only a month into the lease, Don Jr. tried to raise the rent. And so they showed him a demonstration of their power by closing the Starbucks. But we didn't know that at the time because we would have just told him the deal was off and he doesn't speak for us and you can pay the normal rent. But we didn't know that. So then we had to use all our emergency services and disaster relief services to deal with that one. And then the COVID hit. And what we were supposed to do, everyone was tired. We only had a few masks. We only had a few hand sanitizer, Lysol. Everything was tapped. We didn't have time to make more. All because John Jr. was trying to get a little on the side. So, first of all, it is not my fault because I told the Father Kell truth that I did that. Now, granted, I didn't close the Starbucks. It was the alien. So, okay, I'll take a little bit of heat. But you can't blame the administration. You got to blame the actual culprit in this, Don Jr., who, and this is not the first time he's tried to make money off of one of our deals. And when I mean our Donald or myself, he sold my papers when I was younger in high school to Tom Steyer, and I still never got paid for that. So you can't criticize Donald Trump. If you want to criticize someone, you want to criticize Don Jr. for the lack of a COVID response. And even though Eric hasn't admitted, I bet you he was involved too. But, you need to leave me and Donald alone because it wasn't our fault. We did the best with what we could. And we're the only administration in history that has to deal with two crises. FDR just had one war. Wilson had one war. Washington had one war. Lincoln had one war. We had two crises. We had a closing of a Starbucks, which some people think is a sign of Armageddon, the end of times, and then we had the COVID. And we were able to survive. So instead of criticizing us, I think we should be getting some credit, but no, we're not getting some credit. Everyone just wants to blame people. So if you're going to blame people, don't blame me, don't blame Donald Trump, blame Don Jr., and you probably are safe bet in blaming Eric.